How we help our clients sustainably get below 15 or even 10% body fat without restrictive dieting or counting calories. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Coach Ábris, founder of Demi Cycle Protocol, and over the past year we've helped over 50 high achievers and corporate executives over the ages of 40 and 50 permanently get below 15% body fat, double their natural energy levels, and get in the best shape of their life without having to abuse stimulants, take sleep drugs, sleep medication, melatonin, counting calories, or training over 2 to 3 hours per week. And how do you get to results like these? What I will show you in this picture in a second. So exactly like these. Over the ages of 40 and 50, getting below 9% body fat, just like Devin over here on the top right, right? So how do you make this happen without having to count calories and without having to restrict your diet and telling the same old boring framework that most coaches will tell you, that get in a caloric deficit, eat a high protein diet, go to the gym 6 times per week, blah 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 blah. It doesn't work like that, especially not for men over 40 or 50, or not for men with a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders, right? So if you are a dad, if you have a family, if you are an executive at a company, and you are responsible for the livelihood of many people, dozens or even hundreds of people, right? And you are not only responsible for yourself, and it's taking up a lot of your time, and you have to make sure that you are performing at your top every single day, then taking care of your health might have not been your number one priority over the past couple of years or decades. But now that you failed to hit that recently, your energy levels have dropped or your confidence have dropped. You don't have that vitality, you don't have that aura, that gravitas anymore that comes from people who are in a pretty decent shape, then you might have shifted your priorities lately. But you see all this noise on social media and see all of these fitness influencers and trainers and coaches talk about the same old boring gym rat framework of getting in a decent shape, getting ripped, getting six-pack abs, right? And they are showing their fancy 15-minute ab workouts, they are showing their chicken rice broccoli style meals and stuff like that. And you just can't imagine how you could fit that into your lifestyle. So the good news is that you absolutely don't have to, and another good news is that we made this happen. We made the transformation itself happen to our clients without them having to ever restrict their diet or count calories. And this is a very simple 5-step framework that's over here on the whiteboard, and I'm just going to go through it. And hopefully by the end of this video you will understand how nutrition works and how the entire process of shifting your body chemistry works in a way that your body starts working in your favor. So you won't end up losing a couple of pounds, right, on a 90-day shredding challenge and then gaining it all back and keep yo-yoing for years. But now you will have a clear framework in mind on how to sustainably lose body fat, how to sustainably change your body composition. So the first one of the 5 steps over here is nutrition over dieting. Why do I say that? So if you're a high performer at a company, or you're an executive, you own your own business, so you're an entrepreneur, you probably know that strategy is always much more important than tactics. And what do I mean by that? So strategy is always something long-term, right? And tactics is something that works currently but might not work forever. The same goes for a diet versus a nutrition, right? Diet equals tactics over here, and nutrition equals strategy, right? So you want to make sure that your strategy is on spot and you are actually understanding what you put in your body. And it's very simple. So instead of subscribing to a diet, so this one over here, like keto, paleo, carnivore, vegan, Atkins diet, low FODMAPs or vertical diet or whatever. So instead of putting yourself into a bracket and trying to control permanently what you are eating for the rest of your life, and following the same meals or the same framework of meals and recipes every single day for the rest of your life, that's not going to work, right? Because you will end up either burned out, unhealthy, so certain processes in your body won't work as well as they were before when you eat a diet including more variety, right? And you will feel that this is monotonous, this is boring, you want to stop that, and you will end up quitting. And you know it already from business that quitters never win. So, instead of applying a temporary tactic, so a diet, in your lifestyle, you want to understand and fix your nutrition. So, you just want to learn the basics. What are macro and micronutrients, right? What type of foods are typically containing certain micronutrients and macronutrients, right? What are proteins for? Proteins are for, building your muscle mass, maintaining your lean muscle mass so you can have a faster metabolism, so you can drop fat faster, right? Proteins are also great for recovering your joints, recovering your muscles between workouts, and so on and so on and so on. You learn this. Okay, next step will be what our carbs are for. So carbs are, I would say, quick and temporary sources of energy. Your body can't store nutrients as carbs, but your muscles do use them for a certain period of time. And also your brain uses them. So you gotta understand that carbs are useful, carbs are not your enemies, and you can use them for energy purposes. So for example, if you batch up majority of your carb intake for before and after your workout for that certain day, and for the rest of the day you're not eating too many carbs, probably majority of the energy coming from carbs will go straight into fueling your muscles on that particular workout. So you made sure that carbs don't make you fat, right? Because you use them well. Okay, and then you learn what fats are for. Fats are for optimizing your hormonal system, right? Fats can be healthy. There are some unhealthy types of fat. Some fats help you actually lose fat in your belly area, the visceral fat, and so on and so on and so on. So you just learn the basics, what protein, carbs, and fats are for. You just stick to the basics when it comes to micronutrients, so which vitamins are the most relevant to take for you, right? This is where personalized guidance and accountability helps a lot. So consulting with an expert who understands what your body actually needs. Do you need to take vitamin C, vitamin D? Where do you live, right? What your lifestyle looks like? What is your daily sun exposure, for example, right? How do you look like in terms of mineral intake? Are you having enough electrolytes? Are you well hydrated? Do you need zinc for your testosterone levels? Do you need boron? Do you need copper? And so on and so on and so on. Majority of the supplements on the market today are useless. So you gotta remember that you have to cut out 99% of the useless stuff that you hear online and ask for the guidance of an expert who can help you figure out that which supplements and which of these micronutrients and minerals are worth to take for you, and which are the ones that you can easily sort out with your nutrition. Also depending on your area, on your lifestyle, what is available for you, and so on and so on and so on. If you are an executive, right, high performer, you're making good money and stuff like that, this shouldn't be an issue for you because, as I said in one of my previous videos, you can sort even your micronutrient intake in your entire nutrition, you can sort it out by simply outsourcing cooking, right? Meal prep service, private chef, and so on. So whatever you request, they will fulfill that. So you outsource something that you are not an expert on. And if you're not an expert on nutrition, simply the best way to go about it is simply outsource it, okay? But always think of it as nutrition. You're not on a diet. You're not following a diet, right? I'm not on keto, I'm on carnivore and stuff like that. Because the results might come in, and they might come in fast if you're doing it 100% perfect, but how long can you be performing it 100% or even 120%, right? Probably not forever. So if you want something that's permanent and that sticks with your lifestyle, then you definitely want to understand and follow a certain nutrition framework instead of relying on a diet for the rest of your life. If you want to, of course, avoid the yo-yo effect. If you're happy with, gaining and losing 5 to 10 pounds here and there and repeating the same cycle of misery every single year, you can stick to diets. But if you listen to me, you will follow nutrition. Okay? Alright, the next one. Protein over macros. What do I mean by that? Do you have to actually religiously track all the macros? Because let's assume that now you have understood nutrition and you know what the macronutrients are for, but do you actually need to pull up MyFitnessPal every single day and log your macros and keep track of every single gram of carbs and fats that you have eaten? No, absolutely not. Because if you sort out your protein intake, so if you keep protein a priority, nice alliteration, right? So if you keep protein as a high priority in your lifestyle and you're having 1 gram of protein for every single pound of your body weight or your lean body mass, right? Let's say you are 250 pounds and you're 50 pounds overweight, probably that would mean that your lean body weight is around 200 pounds, so you need to eat 200 grams of protein every single day. If you have understood nutrition, now you know which foods are high in protein, right? And you'll select your favorite ones and eat those every single day. Or you have, like, what we do with our clients usually is we have 3 to 5 go-to favorite meals or recipes that we include in their nutritional framework, and all of them are high in protein. A very good indicator that your meal that you're eating currently is actually a good meal and actually helpful for you and supports your fat loss goals, meanwhile keeping your lean muscle mass, because there is a difference between weight loss and fat loss. Weight loss is becoming smaller but still looking like shit, right? But fat loss is when you are only losing the body fat and you're keeping or even increasing the lean muscle mass that you have in your frame, which means that your body composition will improve, your body fat percentage will be lower, and your lean skeletal muscle mass will be proportionately or even ultimately higher, okay? But that doesn't work without adequate protein intake, okay? So always make sure that you're taking enough protein in and you have your go-to recipes which are high in protein. And a very good indicator, what I want to say, very good indicator that a meal is sorted, a meal is alright, and it's safe to consume for you, is that if you look at your plate or whatever, a bowl or whatever you're eating from, at least 50% of that is made of a primary protein source. And the rest of it can be sorted out with high volume carbs. So carb sources that are large in size but low in energy compared to their size. So for example, potatoes, sweet potatoes, mandioca, papaya, watermelon are great examples of this, right? And the remaining little portion of your plate should be either some grilled veggies or salad, whatever. Fiber intake is very important too, right? So something that fills you up and aids your digestion, and of course a little bit of healthy fats, right? It's nothing wrong with putting a slice of avocado on the side of your plate if your fat intake is particularly low for that day, or if you just generally like it, right? So fats won't make you fat if you also use them the right way and you're not over consuming them. But how do you make sure that you're actually not over consuming carbs and fats if you're not counting calories, right? Simply by eating enough protein. So if you are eating enough protein, if all of the other factors on this list, which I will show you very soon, is figured out, you should have no hunger issues. You should always feel satiated. And because of that satiety that now you are possessing, right? That kind of satiety allows you to not overeat other macronutrients. Does tracking your macros help you in the beginning? Yes, it might be an anchor for your ship, right? But it's not required for you to sail, right? So once you have left the harbor, now your ship is sailing. You've got good winds because you understand nutrition. You're eating a high protein diet. So you don't have to track your macros forever. And to be honest, macro tracking is like a very meticulous, time-consuming, and pretty much nerdy activity. People will look weird at you if you start doing this, let's say in the middle of a restaurant, on a business conference, or whatever, right? So you don't want to end up becoming that person. Okay, next one. Sleep over calories, okay? So why do I keep saying that? So you might be confused that, hey, isn't every fitness coach telling that you need a calorie deficit to lose fat? Yes, you need. But the thing is, you don't need to track your calories to know for sure that you're in a calorie deficit. What I would rather track instead is your sleep quality. Why? Because the better you sleep, the less likely you are to overconsume calories. Why? Because there are 4 very important hormones that are being released while you sleep, right? And they are massively impacting your fat loss success and your appetite. So first of all, there is growth hormone and testosterone. So these are mainly being released meanwhile you're in the deep sleep phase. You might sleep 8 hours a night, no one cares, because you're not getting enough deep sleep. So if your deep sleep is less than 20% of your total sleep, probably you're not producing enough testosterone and growth hormone to support your fat loss goals. Testosterone and growth hormone, they are dropping naturally over the age of 40. So this is why you might feel like your metabolism is slower, you might feel like you don't have that kind of energy and drive, and you're often suffering from brain fog. That's not you're not a special snowflake in that regard. It happens to a lot of men at your age, but it can be completely tackled with natural practices, just like tracking your sleep and having a solid pre-bed routine and a sleep optimization protocol tailored to your lifestyle that can help you with simply increasing your sleep quality and increasing the amount of time that you spend in deep sleep phase, which will ultimately make sure that you're producing more testosterone and growth hormone, which creates the ideal hormonal environment for you for fat loss over the age of 40. Okay? So, another two hormones which are playing a key role in these processes are ghrelin and leptin. The better your sleep quality is, the less ghrelin, so the less hunger hormone you will release. But also the better your sleep quality is, the more leptin, so satiety hormone you will produce. So the beautiful thing about that is that meanwhile your hunger goes down, your overall satiety will actually go up. So it's a win-win situation for you. So definitely get yourself an Oura Ring or a hoop band or whatever device you prefer and start tracking your sleep. Or if you are not really confident about giving feedback to your own sleep patterns, or you don't really know how to actually optimize your sleep, I also highly recommend getting personalized guidance on this from whoever you trust, right? So for example, what we do with our clients is that we send out an Oura Ring to each of their addresses. They put it on their fingers. This is a little device that measures their sleep quality, their respiration, their heart rate, and so on. So many important metrics which are key to know for your longevity and to be aware of your sleep quality on a day-to-day basis. So we always get data. From the data, they get feedback from me, and ultimately they can iterate on that feedback. So they can start trying different things and optimize their sleep quality according to their environment and according to their lifestyle. So there's nothing very complicated about this. It's just much more important than tracking calories in MyFitnessPal every day, being neurotic about it, and just trying to push yourself into a calorie deficit without knowledge on nutrition, without prioritizing protein, and without prioritizing your sleep quality. Sleep is the best performance enhancing drug when it comes to fat loss, so you definitely want to keep it in mind that the higher the sleep quality is, the more testosterone you will produce, the more growth hormone you will produce, the less hunger hormone, and the more satiety hormone you will produce. So you're creating the ideal hormonal environment for your body to lose fat, even the age of 40 and 50, okay? Hope it's understandable. Now let's get to the next step, which might hurt some of you, but this is the ugly truth. Metabolic priming over restrictions. What does that mean? So many of the men over 40 and 50, some of you who are watching this right now, you often complain about your metabolism, how it is so slow and how it is something genetic. No, to be honest, in 95.1, so 95.1% of the cases, it has nothing to do with your male hormones, it has nothing to do with your genetics, and it has nothing to do with your thyroid functions, okay? Even your thyroid hormones can be optimized naturally, but let's not touch the topic for today. Let's only talk about metabolic priming and restrictions, right? So your metabolism can definitely be changed, and it is regardless of age, location, height, body weight, body fat percentage, or genetics. It can be changed, and it can be done naturally without any kind of medication or external injections or drugs that you might consider taking right now. Don't do that. First, let's try the natural solutions. And if nothing works, which I highly doubt, then you can go for the medications, right? Okay, but I always say decentralize your health, right? Don't depend on central health authorities, because if you put your life in their hands, who knows what will happen, right? And you end up paying those big fat 6-figure medical bills and then nothing happens, nothing is guaranteed, right? Now, here at least you try becoming your own medicine and getting rid of the number one killer of Americans today, which is obesity, right? So, let's talk about metabolic priming. Metabolic priming means applying those methods, lifestyle choices, and potentially natural supplementation and supplement protocols that will allow you to burn more calories per hour naturally at rest. So even while you're sitting at a couch, you will burn more calories than a person whose metabolism is not primed properly, right? So if you choose this instead of completely restricting your diet and cutting out entire groups of nutrients which might hurt you and your overall health and well-being in the long term, then, well, you will definitely be cooked if you're not doing this, right? So if you're not priming your metabolism, but you're choosing restrictions, then you will end up yo-yoing back. So the same with what happens with nutrition and dieting. If you choose a diet over understanding nutrition, you will gain all the fat back sooner or later. The same goes for not being aware of how you can actually boost your metabolism and always relying on restrictions. Who wants to eat a restrictive diet anyway, right? So you want to go to an event where they serve you some drinks or some nice food, and you just say that, sorry, I can't eat carbs, or sorry, I can't eat beef because that has been restricted by my diet. I'm a fruitarian, whatever, and this will help me lose 50 pounds in the next 12 hours, or some marketing gimmick like this, because the internet is full of these scams, right? And if you start restricting your diet and all the benefit that you get out of that is just losing pounds, and you don't know what those pounds are, water, fat, glycogen, or muscle, then it has absolutely no sense in restricting your diet at all. Meanwhile, you're just slowing down your metabolism with all of these restrictions. Right? So the more you starve, the more you crave, actually the more your metabolism slows down over time. So definitely prioritize metabolic priming instead of restrictions. And if you don't know how to prime your metabolism yet, or if you know how to do it but you don't have the discipline to follow a framework which enables you to do that, so then again, accountability and personalized guidance is key in these terms, especially if you know someone who is an expert on metabolic priming. I wonder who could that be? Anyway, the final step over here is DMT over cardio. What is DMT? No, I'm not talking about the drugs. This channel is not for hippies. If you're a hippie watching this, probably you should switch channels. But anyway, DMT in our terms, sorry, means daily movement targets instead of doing hours of cardio. Okay, I'm not against cardio workouts. I do support them 2 to 3 times per week, not more than that, just to keep your heart healthy overall, right? But if your primary goal is losing fat, all that matters is what is the total amount of energy that you burn throughout a day. So you want to live kind of like an active, a little bit goofy, jolly lifestyle. It doesn't mean that you should be, just jumping around all day long like a silly kid. No. What you want to be doing is that you want to achieve the highest daily movement targets possible. But it doesn't work like going on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or whatever platform you're using for getting your news from, right? So it doesn't work like that you go on these platforms, listen to the fitness influencers who tell you, take 10K steps a day, right? If you have never taken more than 4,000 steps per day, which is the American average nowadays, then why would you jump straight to 10,000, right? Why would you only walk, right? There are so many more activities like playing golf, tennis, basketball, football, swimming, hiking, whatever you prefer, whatever movement is your favorite one, just get some movement tracker on or get an Oura ring, right? And you will be aware of your step counts, or at least the equivalent of steps that you have taken on that particular day. And don't start with 10,000 if you have never taken more than 4,000 yet, okay? So start from like a more sustainable 6,000 to 8,000 steps per day, okay? Let's see how long you can sustain that. If you can sustain that even during your busiest times, even during high seasons in business, even during your travels. And if you can, now you can raise the number. You can go for 9 to 11, 12 to 15,000 steps. And the more steps you take, the more active you are during the day. Sorry, my throat is getting dry. The better your fat loss processes will be, the more optimized they will be, the faster your metabolism will be, the more energy you are burning throughout the day. You are not spending hours boring yourself to death on a treadmill. And what's more, your deep sleep will be better. Actually, this is an interesting pattern that I have observed with my clients, that the more steps they take on a daily basis, the more they usually spend in the deep sleep phase, so their testosterone goes up, so their hunger hormone goes up, goes down, your growth hormone goes up, your satiety hormone goes up, and they are losing fat faster. Not just because of the excess calories that they have burned, but also because of the ideal sleep and hormonal environment that they have for the fat loss. So if you keep these 5 that simple rules and frameworks, right, then everything starts interconnecting and working in your favor. So all it is about is just teaching your body how to work with you and not against you. And if you find this a little bit overwhelming and you feel like that you need a more personalized framework out of this, you need someone who keeps you accountable with this, and you'd like to try something that's 100% sure that works for you, then feel free to go to the description of this video and book a free call with us, and let's see if you're a good fit to work together. However, if you're the type of man who is not a high performer, you are not in that age where this would be relevant for you, or you're a type of person who likes to procrastinate, make up excuses, or you're not ready to commit, to invest in your health, and to stick to a program which is sustainable, efficient with your time, then probably your mindset is not strong enough yet, so you need to get your brain in shape first. So don't book a free call yet, let's not waste each other's time, but I highly invite you to watch my previous videos where I exactly teach you how to get your brain in shape first, so you can be ready for the transformations that I have shown you. But let me show you this to you again. So you will be ready for making transformations happen like these ones over here. Okay? But only if you're ready. If you are ready to start and say a hell yes tomorrow, right? Because this is the second latest time that you can start. Probably I will need some more orders, so I have to cut this video short. So guys, if you enjoyed this generally, drop a like and a subscribe, and share this with your family, your friends, your colleagues, your teammates, your employees, or whoever is important to you and you want them to live a long and healthy and energetic life. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.